Welcome back to our Audit Readiness series. In Deep Dive 3, we cover your processes, the way the work actually gets done, and how to prove it. Because in an audit, if it is not written down, it did not happen. So far, Scope told the auditor where to look, and your inventory told them what you have. Processes tell them how you keep it safe, day to day. A process is just a repeatable way of doing something, like granting access or shipping a change. And here is the rule that runs this whole video. If it is not written down, it does not count because an auditor can only test what they can read. Now, written down can mean three different things, and they nest. A policy is the promise, like every new hire is set up securely before day one. A procedure is how you keep that promise, the checklist you follow. And a runbook is the exact steps for one task, like creating a new person's accounts. For Acme, the policy is secure onboarding, the procedure is their onboarding checklist, and the runbook is the account setup itself. Policy, procedure, runbook, from the promise down to the exact steps. So, which processes do you actually write down? For a first audit, a handful come up almost every time. How access is granted and removed, the access reviews that catch old permissions, how changes are shipped, and how you handle an incident. Add your backups, vulnerability management, and onboarding, and you have covered most of what an auditor will ask about. Once you pick a process, document it the same way every time. Name an owner, a real person who is accountable. Write the trigger that starts it. List the steps in order. Note the systems it runs on. Set how often it happens. And most important, capture the evidence it produces. The ticket, the log, the sign-off. That evidence field is what makes or breaks you at audit time. But here is the catch. Writing the procedure is only half the job. An auditor checks two things. First, is it well designed? That is the document. Second, did it actually run every time for months? That is the evidence. A beautiful procedure that leaves no trail still fails. Design earns the first check. Proof it ran earns the second. So how do you produce that evidence without extra work? Run each process inside a system that already records it. Acme ships changes through GitHub, so every review and approval is logged. Support runs in Zendesk, so every ticket is timestamped, and when they run access reviews in their sign-on tool, each one is signed and dated. Do the work where it logs itself, and the evidence becomes a byproduct. So, let us put Acme's processes to the test. Deployment is documented in a runbook, and GitHub proves it ran. Support is tracked in Zendesk with evidence built in. But their access review has no owner, no schedule, and no evidence. 2 clean passes and 1 classic finding. And the fix is small. Give it an owner, put it on the calendar every quarter, and run it where it is logged. And this is where a compliance platform earns its keep. It maps each of your procedures to the control it supports, pulls the evidence from the tools you already use, and warns you when a periodic control like that access review is coming due. That is what BrickGRC does, so a process never quietly lapses between audits. And that is your processes. Start free at brickgrc.com/discovery and subscribe because the next deep dive is your people, who is responsible for what and how to show it.